Thalassophobia. Either you know what it is from the last video I made about it, or you've heard about it somewhere else, because I refuse to believe there's anyone left on this planet who doesn't know what thalassophobia is. But just in case you're one of them extraterrestrials who's never heard of it, thalassophobia is basically the fear of the ocean or any other large, murky body of water. For me, it usually presents as an overwhelming feeling that something's about to grab my ankle whenever I'm floating on the surface. Now, that feeling may be a little bit hard to replicate here on dry land, but in my experience, the best way to do that is through Reddit. That's what this video is. It's a Reddit reaction video. Yeah, I'm one of those guys now. Now, personally, I'm a huge fan of this image because it really does explain thalassophobia pretty well. That shark there, he ain't hurting nobody. I mean, he probably could if he wanted to. He could probably chomp my spine in half, but, you know, I don't look enough like a seal for that to happen. No, the shark itself is not what scares me. It's what's behind him that really makes my eyeballs recede into their sockets. Nothing. There's nothing there, and by nothing, I mean everything. Literally everything and anything in the ocean could be behind that shark. Do you see how big and open and empty that space is? Do you know how many eldritch horrors you could fit in that baby? There's probably something in there that's big enough to swallow a whole ass school bus and likes to feed on the nightmares of virgins. So of course I'll be perfectly safe. This one's a classic. If you've never seen it before, this is most people's first experience with the sheer terror of the ocean. As you're just swimming along peacefully in this Mario 64 water level, bam! Huge sea serpent comes out of a hole in the wall and starts snapping at poor Mario. Personally, I'd rather fight Bowser than this hellspawn any day. Jeez. There's just so much to hate about this video. Even just from the start, you can see the terrifying expanse of the ocean, and that on its own is enough to make my butthole invert. Then the camera dips underwater, and Jesus Christ, it takes a second to adjust. It's pitch black for a second. I can't see a thing. It looks like what I see when I stand up too fast. And when the camera finally shakes off its cataracts, it's even worse. I don't like having the gift of vision. I want to go back. How do I go back? Now, I know that that's a basking shark, and they're pretty much harmless, but you can't tell me it doesn't look like it wants to swallow everything. I feel like if I got too close, I'd just get sucked down its throat like a vacuum cleaner. So I googled it, and according to scientists, the basking shark's mouth is, you know, how it is, so that it can suck in lots of plankton. But I'm like 87% sure it's just so it can consume as many children's souls as possible in the shortest amount of time. See, this one's interesting, because on one hand, it's really cool. Like, an underwater statue garden, that's sick, I love it. But on the other hand, can you imagine if one of those things just started moving? Like, you're just swimming along, minding your own business, and all of a sudden you see a concrete, barnacle-covered dude coming at you at top speed. Also, seeing these statues makes me think about being stuck at the bottom of the ocean and slowly covered by crustaceans and barnacles and seaweed. Which would suck. I mean, seaweed? Come on. If I'm gonna get covered in some kind of a weed, at least make it the fun one. It probably gets boring down there. I could use the entertainment. This video just goes to show, if you try to outrun the wrath of the ocean, it will hunt you down and find you in your sleep. I finally moved to Kansas to get away from my debilitating fear of the vast sea, and now that I'm here, I'm finally safe. No more looking over my shoulder to make sure I'm not being followed by an eldritch sea creature, no more peeking around corners for Cthulhu before bed. I'm finally free. Oh, what's that? A sinkhole, you say? Dear God. All that this really proves to me is that there's nowhere on this planet I can be safe from the ocean. Which is why I'm starting a GoFundMe to launch myself into space and never come back. Whatever's out there, it's probably better than the Kraken. Oh, wait, never mind. I hate this. This is Kepler 22b, and it's believed to be covered almost entirely by water. Just one giant ocean, deeper and more vast than my love for Markiplier. I have written in the script here, replace this probably, as in replace Markiplier's name with something funnier, but I honestly just can't be bothered. And what's more, this planet is in the habitable zone of its solar system. Now, there's no proof exactly, but it's possible that there's living stuff on that thing, and I don't want to think about what that stuff could be. If you've ever played Subnautica, you'll know just how awful a water planet can be, and the idea of a real-life 4546b makes my stomach do a kickflip. Some things should just be confined to fiction, really. Like geese. Those things shouldn't be real. Now, apparently this clip is from The Sea Beast, which I've never watched, and I can officially say I will never be watching it. I don't care if it's the best show since Breaking Bad. I simply cannot handle this. Look at how big that thing is. It could swallow these two characters whole and not even notice. And the way that it just disappears into the dark. I may have the object permanence of the average infant, but even I know that thing is still there, lurking and watching. That's what I really hate about the ocean, is it can hide huge monsters and you wouldn't even be able to see them until they were right up on you. Ugh, I hate it. Now this right here is the ideal cinematic experience. Sitting in a movie theater to watch your movies is all well and good, but you don't really feel the genuine sense of danger. With this innovative new viewing concept, you can experience the sheer dread of questioning whether that was a popcorn bucket that just brushed against your leg, or if you're about to be dragged down to Davy Jones's locker. Side note, everyone can check off mentions Davy Jones's locker on your Airhead Thalassophobia bingo board. If I'm talking about the ocean, you can rest assured that I'll mention Davy Jones's locker at least once. The one thing that would make this viewing experience perfect is if they released a few live tiger sharks into the pool. You know, for realism. Goblin shark? More like goblin shark, am I right? I'll see myself out. I already knew that goblin sharks could do this, but it will never not be at least a little creepy to me. Something about the way the jaw just shoots out a little bit more, like if you thought you were out of range and suddenly it just gains an extra couple feet. And speaking of teeth, have a look at those chompers. My man looks like he spent most of his life in England eating a diet of mostly rocks and sandpaper. It's a face that only a mother could love. You know, not even. His mom probably kicked him out so she didn't have to look at him anymore. I love how this just evolved into me bullying a fish. You know, he deserves it. Ooh, I don't like this one. Did you see how my man just disappeared into the darkness? The only thing keeping the horrors at bay is the little light on whatever rig they're standing on, and once you go into the darkness, you're basically fair game. Honestly, I can't even blame whatever sea monster decides to off him. He basically volunteered his tribute the way he jumped out into the open water there. See, you'd never catch me doing that, mainly because I wouldn't be down there in the first place, but also because I would be clinging onto the platform for dear life. There is nothing on this planet that would be strong enough to drag me into the darkness out there, because I would sooner let myself get torn in half than let go of that platform. This one combines two of my greatest fears, the ocean and tight spaces. I'm not severely claustrophobic or anything, but I'm pretty sure I've still got some trauma left over from nearly being crushed to death while seeing how many people we could fit in a slide back in 3rd grade. I still get anxious sometimes on enclosed water slides. On a water slide, though, I can pretty much rest assured that I'm not gonna die. This dude, though, is not so lucky. First of all, I don't like underwater caves. Too dark, too many places for demons to lurk, not my vibe. But aside from that, I'm pretty sure that guy was freediving. I don't see an air cylinder on his back. That means he's relying entirely on his lung capacity, and can you imagine what would happen if his hand got stuck in a rock or something? I don't care how close you are to the surface, and that cave is still a death trap. If I ever find myself more than 7 feet down without any source of that sweet, sweet oxygen I need to live, I'ma just write my obituary then and there. Here lies Airhead. He died as he lived. Being a dumbass and risking his safety for no good reason. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. That's about all the images I was able to find for Thalasophobia. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. Someone told me it's pronounced Thalasophobia, but I'm not breaking that habit right now. Anyway, yeah, I felt like after making a whole video where I just kind of talked about Thalasophobia, I had to make a video looking at some Thalasophobia triggering images and videos. I don't know, it just felt right. I'll probably do more videos like this in the future because they're fun and cool to do and relatively easy. And if you've made it this far in the video, you might as well subscribe. Clearly you don't hate the sound of my voice that much, and if you ever decide that you do, you can always just unsubscribe. It's really easy. Anyway, that's about it. I'm gonna head out now, but before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Always remember to stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay humble, because when it comes down to it, we are all just airheads. Have a good night, everyone. And I got the outro right. 50-minute recording, holy shit. Shut up. My dog's barking. Lila, shut up. She listened. Shut up. Stop. I think she's done.